Hello and welcome to Housing TV News at the top of the hour, coming to you from our studios in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Siamali Ibrahim. Our top stories. Nigeria's 2027 elections move to January for the first time since 1999. Senate queries federal government payments over unpaid contractors. EFCC wants real estate management against money laundering in Nigeria's property sector. And on the foreign scene, controversy erupts in Bangladesh over sudden removal of central bank governor. Now, the news in detail. Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has announced that Nigeria's next presidential election will hold on 16 January 2027, moving it forward from February and marking the earliest presidential poll in the country's post-1999 democratic era. The shift follows the repeal of the Electoral Act 2022 and the enactment of the Electoral Act 2026, which altered statutory timelines for pre-election activities. Governorship and state houses of assembly elections have been fixed for 6 February 2027, 2 weeks after the federal contest, with party primaries scheduled between 23rd April and 30th May 2026. INEC National Commissioner Mohammed Haruna said the new timetable aligns with the revised legal framework, warning political parties to strictly comply as campaigns for presidential and National Assembly seats begin on 19 August 2026 and governorship campaigns on 9 September. Campaigns must end 24 hours before polling. The commission also shifted the Osun State governorship election from 8 August to 15 August 2026, noting that remaining preparations will proceed under the new Electoral Act 2026. The Senate of Nigeria has asked the federal government to return to the former payment system that allowed ministries, departments, and agencies to pay contractors directly, describing the current centralized arrangement as inefficient and a major cause of delays in settling verified debt. The call was made by the Senate Committee on Finance during an interactive session with the government economic management team as part of discussions on the 2026 budget framework and fiscal reforms. The meeting was led by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, and had in attendance the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Atiku Bagudu, the Accountant General of the Federation, Shamsuddin Ogunjibi, and the Chairman of the Nigeria Revenue Service, Tak Adedeji. Lawmakers expressed concern over unpaid contractors and questioned the effectiveness of the current budgeting and payment structure. 13 Nigerian banks are racing against time to meet the March 31, 2026 recapitalization deadline set by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. The CBN Governor Olayemi Cardoso announced that 20 of the 33 participating banks have successfully met the new minimum capital requirement, raising a verified 4.05 trillion naira as of February 19, 2026. Of the total amount of 2.90 trillion naira came from domestic investors, while foreign investors contributed 706.84 million naira, reflecting strong confidence in Nigeria's banking sector. However, 13 banks are yet to complete their recapitalization, with some reportedly exploring mergers, acquisitions, and other consolidation strategies to meet the non-negotiable deadline. The CBN assured the public that depositors' funds remain safe, stressing that all banks continue to operate under strict regulatory supervision as part of broader reforms aimed at strengthening the financial system and supporting long-term economic growth. We take a pause here, and up next are news stories from the build sector. Do stay with us.
Visit Housing TV Africa on YouTube and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts. On Facebook, Thousand TV Africa. On Twitter, Thousand TV Africa. Instagram, Thousand TV Africa.
Welcome back, glad to have you join us. Now to the build sector. Minister of Housing and Urban Development Ahmed Dangiwa made this known during a meeting in Abuja, noting that the collaboration will support climate-responsive housing initiative and help Nigeria access international climate finance to fund social housing, especially for vulnerable groups. He also commended the EU-funded Sustainable Integrated Development Program for internally displaced persons in Nigeria, SIDPIN, for supporting housing and community integration in Adamawa, Kano, and Borno State. Dangiwa affirmed the government's commitment to agreement with UN Habitat and revealed plans to review the National Urban Development Policy to promote sustainable urbanization and reduce Nigerians' housing deficit. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) has warned real estate managers and property professionals across Nigeria against facilitating money laundering through property transactions. Speaking during a courtesy visit with the Association of Real Estate and Property Managers at the Commission Benin Zonal Directorate, EFCC Chairman Ola Olukoyede highlighted the rising trend of fraudsters using real estate to conceal illicit funds. He described the real estate managers as designated non-financial business professions and stressed the need to comply with anti-money laundering regulations, warning that breaches would attract strict enforcement. Chairman Olukoyede also drew attention to the EFCC's Land and Property Fraud section, tasked with investigating and prosecuting property-related financial crimes. Edo State Chairman Akpesri Egbonaje expressed the association's commitment to sanitizing the sector through structured collaboration with law enforcement. Real estate professionals are asked to conduct due diligence, report suspicious transactions, and adhere to EFCC guidelines to protect investors, strengthen transparency, and ensure compliance with regulatory standards. The Lagos State House of Assembly has officially halted demolitions in Makoko and Shogule, initiating a two-week reconciliation process to address issues from previous clearance operations. The move aims to foster dialogue with affected residents and promote sustainable development along the Third Mainland Bridge Corridor. Speaking, Mudashiru Obasa, represented by Majority Leader Nohem Adams, emphasized the inclusion of women, youth, students, and traditional leaders in community committees to resolve dispute and ensure compliance with new regulations. The Assembly adopted recommendations from Dr. Olajide Babatunde, Special Advisor on EJS, establishing a 250-meter setback from the bridge and an additional 250-meter buffer beyond the power line corridor, where all development is now prohibited. Residents affected by earlier demolitions are to be compensated, while the state government plans to invest about $10 million in redeveloping the Makoko waterfront to improve infrastructure and living conditions. The Assembly pledged to monitor the process to ensure fairness, transparency, and adherence to the new regulations. Consumers and construction stakeholders across Nigeria are facing fresh hikes in cement prices, with a 50 kg bag now selling between 10,500 naira and 11,000 in most states, and a high as 11,500 naira in parts of Lagos. Market checks in Kwara, Abuja, Kano, Kaduna, and Jigawa show 10,500 has become the new benchmark across major brands such as Dangote Cement PLC, Boa Cement PLC, and Lafarge African PLC. Dealers attribute the rise to higher production and logistics costs, while retailers in Lagos cite additional markups by middlemen. The increase has also pushed up the cost of other building materials, with block prices rising in several northern states. Stakeholders warn that the sustained surge could slow housing delivery and infrastructure projects as even 1,000 increase per bag significantly raises overall construction costs. Concerns have also emerged over reports that Nigerian cement may sell cheaper in neighboring Niger Republic, though analysts note that export prices are shaped by different tax and logistics structures. Industry voices are calling for government engagement with manufacturers and address cost drivers, while some producers link the hikes to dollar-denominated import input, expressing hope the expressing hope that prices may ease if the naira strengthens. And lastly, on the foreign scene, a wave of political and economic controversy has swept across Bangladesh following the abrupt removal of Central Bank Governor Ahsan Habib Mansour and the appointment of businessman MD Mostaqur Rahman as the new head of Bangladesh Bank. Transparency International Bangladesh (TIB) has raised concerns over independence and neutrality of the new governor, warning of potential conflicts of interest and questioning his capacity to safeguard financial stability and good governance. Mansour's tenure came during a period of economic strength, marked by declining foreign exchange reserves, currency volatility, and growing import pressures. That's much we can take on Housing TV News at the hour, but before we go, let's take a recap of our top stories. Nigeria's 2027 elections moved to January for the first time since 1999. Senate queries federal government payments over unpaid contractors. EFCC wants real estate management against money laundering in Nigeria's property sector. And on the foreign scene, controversy erupts in Bangladesh over sudden removal of central bank governor. For more news in the housing sector, subscribe to Housing TV Africa on YouTube and follow Housing TV on all social media platforms. Download the Housing TV Africa mobile app on Google Play Store and Apple Store. I am Siam Ali Ibrahim. Bye for now.